G'day and welcome to another episode of Kiwi Car Life, and today I'm going to be building myself the ultimate manual BMW daily driver, a car that will hopefully combine the comfort and efficiency of my Skoda Octavia VRS with the rear wheel drive, handling and balance of my E92 325i, but most importantly with the manual transmission that I miss from my old BMW 130i. And the car that is going to become the new Kiwi Car Life car is this, a humble E92 325i coupe with the all-important 6-speed manual transmission. While quite common over in Europe, here in New Zealand these are exceedingly rare, which is the whole reason I bought the uglier manual 130i a few years ago. If you want a manual late 2000s 6-cylinder rear-wheel drive BMW like this, your options are pretty much to manual swap one yourself, get an ugly 130i or 135i coupe, or wait for a very uncommon UK import manual 3 Series to come up like this. A late night Facebook Marketplace browse led me to fire off a message to the owner of a pretty rough but cheap manual 325i, and before I knew it I had booked a $49 Jetstar flight to Auckland with my friend Jack. We arrived, took delivery of my new car and met up with some friends for dinner. This, along with a host of blown bulbs and a tyre pressure monitoring system fault, was where we discovered the first major issue. Well, we're off to a good start with the BMW, because the drive belt is letting go as we speak. The next morning, after a very rough cold start, we popped down to B&T, replaced the disintegrating drive belt and the 3 bulbs that were blown before hitting the road to Tauranga to collect another ex-police Commodore you'll be seeing on the channel soon. Predictably, after a few hours of driving, we were greeted with the warm glow of the engine light, which after scanning explained the rough running when cold and why the idle had a mind of its own. It was running lean, suggesting a vacuum leak. So we had a bit of a shaky start with a myriad of bulb check and washer fluid level warnings, a disintegrating drive belt, engine light, a cold start misfire, intermittent air conditioning and a TPMS fault. But now that the car is home and we've changed the bulbs, topped up the washer fluid, replaced the drive belt and coded out the TPMS fault, the list of things that need fixing is starting to come down a bit. The front bumper, driver's door, boot and rear bumper all have chipping paint and clear coat peel. Annoyingly, someone had the whole car fully resprayed at some point recently. So as a result, if you bump it into literally anything, as the previous owner did, the paint just chips and flakes off rather than deforming with the panel like OEM paint would. But to keep within budget, I'm just going to get the front bumper resprayed and the dent in the driver's door pulled, and we'll just have to get over myself for the stuff around back. I'm going to have to do some poking around in the engine bay to try find the source of that vacuum leak. The logical theory there is that potentially the intake manifold gasket is failing, letting a bit of extra air seep in that the MAF sensor isn't reading. But once we sort that out, hopefully that will get rid of the engine light and the cold start misfire. And finally, in typical old BMW fashion, the headliner is flapping around in the wind like a sheet. The good features of the car though is that despite the kilometres and condition, it is ideal spec. It's a factory M Sport, meaning it has the M Sport seats, steering wheel, suspension and 19-inch wheels. It's got heated memory seats, cruise control, black interior and headliner with silver trim and no iDrive. Apart from the black paint, it is exactly how I would spec an E92 if I was buying one new back in 2008. The engine is interesting too. If this was sold new in New Zealand, it would have had a 2.5 litre port injected N52, but because it was sold in the UK it actually has a 3 litre direct injected N53, but detuned from the 30i spec of 200 kilowatt down to the 25i spec of only 160 kilowatt, which is kind of a blessing and a curse. Because it's direct injected, it's more fuel efficient, and because it's basically a detuned 3 litre, you can easily tune it back up to 330i spec and make the full 200 kilowatt. But because it is direct injected, naturally it's going to suffer from carbon buildup issues, and if the injectors were to fail, they are astronomically expensive to replace compared with the port injected ones. The best part is it's got stacks of service history and it drives fantastic. 3 litre straight 6 with a manual transmission in a 3 Series coupe body style. While it may be the detuned 160 kilowatt 3 litre version, it still makes a pretty impressive amount of power, and it scoots this thing along really nicely. On the 19-inch M Sport wheels, this thing just handles beautifully. Hydraulic power steering, so you know exactly what the front end is doing. Suspension on this one I feel perhaps is a little bit tired. It definitely has a very soft ride, but I can tell that with some suspension work down the line, this thing will handle just like an M Sport 3 Series should again. The seats are excellent. The interior, with it being a non-iDrive version, is just simple. Gauges, a simple radio, simple climate control with all physical controls. It's got heated seats, everything I could possibly look for in a car. And I think it looks absolutely fantastic on the outside too. While it's not a 325i with the big twin exhausts around the back, it just has a couple little poo shooters off to the side. Overall, I couldn't be happier with this car. In my mind, I feel as though it is the reliable way to get yourself a 3 Series coupe, as the N54, let's just say, is perhaps somewhat questionable. Ideally, I would have liked to get an N52 one, that's the port injected engine, because they're just a little bit simpler than this direct injection one. But assuming I can fix that vacuum leak fairly easily, tune it up to the full 200 kilowatt, and perhaps down the line also look to do like a cat delete, and you can also swap in an automatic gearbox differential in the back to make the gears a whole lot shorter. I think the combination of a short diff, a full 200 kilowatt engine with new dampers in the suspension, fix all the paintwork, sort out the headliner, and this thing will be a sensational driving car. So there we are. Thanks for watching this episode of Kiwi Car Life. I hope you enjoyed this look at my new E92 BMW 325i. I'm looking forward to getting this thing restored, but naturally it's going to take quite a while. There's a decent amount of stuff that needs doing to it, so I'm going to split this up into a few different series. But come back in a month's time and hopefully this thing will be an almighty, polished, clean, shiny and very fast machine that I am most looking forward to driving. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.